Dear students, today I am going to explain you Act 4, Scene 1. This is very important scene beta. From examination point of view, you usually get a question from this scene in your board exams. So please listen carefully and try to understand the scene. This scene takes place in Venice, a court of justice. Enter Duke, the Magnificus. The Magnificus means the noblemen of Venice. Antonio, Bassanio, Gratiano, Salario, and others. This is the trial scene and it takes place in Court of Venice. Duke. What is Antonio here? So in the very first line, Duke or asks the people there that if Antonio is present there. Antonio, ready, so please your grace. So Antonio says that he was present. He addresses the Duke as grace and he says that he is present there and he is already there in the court. Duke, I'm sorry for thee. Duke says that he's sorry for Antonio. Why is he sorry? He says, thou art come to answer a stony adversary. So he is saying that you are here to defend yourself against a stone-hearted enemy. Stony means stone-hearted or hard-hearted. Adversary means opponent or enemy. Here it is used for Shylock. So the Duke is calling Shylock a stone-hearted enemy of Antonio, and he is sorry for Antonio that he has come here in the court to defend himself against Antonio. He calls Antonio stony adversary, an inhuman wretch. An inhuman wretch means one who is a feelingless person, incapable of pity, who can't show pity. Void means without, and empty from any dram of mercy. Dram is the smallest quantity of use for measurement. He says he doesn't even have a smallest amount of mercy in him. He doesn't have a pinch of mercy in him. So a dram of mercy in him. So he can't show mercy. So the Duke feels sorry for Antonio that he had come there to answer or defend himself against a stone-hearted enemy, an inhuman wretch without pity and who totally lacks mercy. Antonio, I have heard your grace hath taken, this word is taken pains to qualify his rigorous course. He says that he has heard that the Duke, grace, here he addresses your grace to Duke only. He says that I have heard that you have taken great pains to moderate the rigorous course. The rigorous course here is the proceeding of the court. So he is saying that you have tried to, you have taken pains to soften the cruelty of action of the plan, whatever Shylock has. The Shylock is planning to take upon the flesh of Antonio, from Antonio's body, and the Duke has taken great pains so that something could be done through legal proceedings and this course of action, that is and this Antonio could be saved from giving upon the flesh to Shylock. But he stands obdurate. Obdurate means very adamant, very stubborn. He says though he has tried to convince Antonio, and through legal plan of action also he has tried to save Antonio from clutches of Shylock. But since he stands adamant here, means this Shylock stands very adamant. He is very stubborn. He just wants his penalty and nothing else. He just wants a pound of flesh from Antonio's body and nothing else. So Duke has failed in in compelling him or doing anything to help Antonio through lawful proceedings also, and that no lawful means can carry me out of his enemy's reach. Says that no lawful means without no legal proceedings can rescue him from his enemy's reach, that is from Shylock. He can't be saved by any legal proceedings from his enemy's reach, that is from Shylock's reach. So Shylock is sure to get a pound of flesh from Antonio's body because lawfully he is correct. The bond has been forfeited, and if we consider it lawfully, so he's liable to take whatever is mentioned in the bond, since Antonio is unable to pay him money on time. So he's liable to take a pound of flesh from Antonio's body as per the bond and as per the law. So nobody can save him now. I do oppose my patience to his fury, and I'm armed. So Antonio says that I do oppose means I shall meet his anger with patience. So I'm ready to oppose him with my patience, and I'm armed to suffer. So as if he has surrendered to his fate. Antonio seemed to have surrendered to his fate now, and he says that he is ready to bear all the anger of his enemy with patience, and he is all prepared. He's armed means he's prepared to suffer with quietness of spirit the very trinity and range of his. He's saying that he is ready to suffer Shylock's anger with patience, and he's also prepared to face his cruelty and anger with calm spirit. Right, with quietness of spirit means with calm spirit. He will calmly and patiently suffer or face the cruelty and anger of Shylock. So this is what he says in the very first page of the scene. Coming on to the next page now. On hearing this, the Duke says, "Go one and call the Jew into the court." So the Duke orders that the Jew, that is Shylock, should be called into the court. Salario, he is ready at the door. He comes, my lord. So Salario says that he is ready at the door, and Shylock enters the court. Duke, make room and let him stand before our face. So Duke says that make some space for him and let him stand right before them. Shylock, the world think, and I think so too, that thou but leadest the fashion of thy malice. So he's saying that I think, and even the world has the same. World also thinks similarly like I think, that thou, here is Shylock, you, but leadest this fashion of thy malice, means that you at present are showing this cruelty and hatred. Malice here means the cruelty. He's showing he's very cruel towards Antonio. No, he's ready to take a pound of flesh from his body. So Shylock is trying to convince him by saying that the people and I too think that you are keeping up this show of cruelty and hatred to the last hour of act. He says you are doing this until it is gone to the last minute of the action. What is the last minute of the action? The last moment of the action, when he'll be cutting a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. He's saying that you're putting on this hatred, you're pretending to be cruel, and you're showing this hatred towards Antonio only till the last hour of act. And when you'll be about to cut a pound from Antonio's body, you will change. This hatred and cruelty will change into, we'll come to know about this in the next line. This is how judges trying to convince him to be more merciful and show pity to Antonio, and not to take a pound of flesh from Antonio's body. He says in the next line, and then it's thought thou shall thy mercy and remorse more strange than is thy strange apparent cruelty. So he says that then all of a sudden you will show mercy and repentance that will be even stranger than the way you are showing cruelty now. So it's very strange that Shylock is Shylock is being so cruel and so harsh, and he's showing so much of hatred and looting towards Antonio. So he's saying that everybody, including me, we believe that you are keeping up this show of cruelty and hatred only till the last hour of action, and then you are expected to show mercy and remorse, which will appear more strange than your this strange cruelty. So see, Judge, what I feel, it's my personal opinion, Judge is trying to convince Shylock like parents usually convince their younger children. So how do they convince? They usually say कि beta, you are very nice, you are very good. Otherwise, I know you are not like this, and you will change soon. You will come to your true self. You are very good. You know, parents usually say, "आप तो बहुत अच्छे हो बेटा," and very soon you will show that you are very good. So this is how Duke is trying to convince Shylock also. He's saying that you are just putting on this show of cruelty and hatred for time being till the last hour of act, and when on the last hour of act you will show pity and remorse, and no, you will show mercy towards Antonio, and that will be even stranger than the strange behavior, strange cruelty you are showing now. So this is how he's trying to convince, Duke is trying to convince Shylock to change his mind and show mercy and remorse and show pity towards Antonio, not she shouldn't take upon the flesh from Antonio's body. And where thou now exacts penalty, which is upon of this poor merchant's flesh, thou wilt not only lose the forfeiture, but touched by human gentleness and love, forgive a moiety of the principle. So what is he saying now? He's saying that you will show such a strange quality of pity and mercy that you will not only forgive him, you will not only not take upon the flesh from Antonio's body, you will not only leave him, spare him. He says that while now you are insisting on taking upon the penalty which is a pound of this poor merchant's flesh, says that where now you exact the penalty, you are now saying that you want the penalty, that is this poor merchant's flesh. But on the hour of act, your behavior will be stranger than what you are behaving now. So what will you do then? You will not only, he says, you will not only forgive, not only give up the claim of to penalty, but you will also forgive half of the original money lent to Antonio. So moiety here means a part of the principal sum. See, it's given in the reference also 27. Moiety means portion. Forgive principal, see, forego a portion of the original sum borrowed by Antonio. So what does the Duke say him? He says such an attitude seemed to be more unexpected than your cruelty. So your attitude of pity and remorse will be more unexpected and more strange than your cruelty. He says, whereas now you insist on claiming the penalty, now he says, and where thou now exact the penalty. He says, now you are claiming to take the penalty, which is pound of poor merchant's flesh. Thou wilt not only lose the forfeiture, he says later on, I am sure that we will not only agree to abandon your claim, but will act according to human gentleness and love. Be touched with human gentleness and love. And he says you will show human gentleness and love, and you will also forgive a portion of the original sum. What is the original sum borrowed by Antonio? 3,000 ducats. He says you will also forgive a portion of the original sum for that Antonio is liable to pay if you don't take this penalty. So you say you will forgive him that also. Why he says you will forgive that? Glancing an eye of pity on his losses that have of late so hurtled on his back. So he's saying that considering the losses, glancing an eye here means that looking into the losses that are borne by Antonio, he's are so huddled on his back means he's so accumulated, he's so pressed by the losses. His ships are lost and he's not left with anything. His business is ruined. He says, looking over that, glancing an eye over and having pity on his losses, you will forgive him a part of the principal amount also. The 3,000 ducats he is liable to pay to Antonio, you will forgive a portion from that also, considering that he is suffering from losses. In order to press the royal merchant down and pluck commiseration of his state from brassy bosoms to rough hearts of friends. So let's understand first line. He says that this line here, 30th line, in order to press a royal merchant down. He says that the losses are enough, means enough to press the royal merchant down, means to ruin the noble merchant. So he's saying that Antonio has suffered from so many losses that are enough to ruin the noble merchant, and considering those losses you will forgive him the portion of the principal amount also, that is 3,000 ducats. Coming on to 31st line now. And pluck commiseration of his state from brassy bosoms and rough heart of flint, from stubborn Turks and Tartars never trained to offences of tender courtesy. So what does he say in these lines? These all lines are in continuation, starting from 31st to 34th line. So let us understand what he says in these lines. The Duke says that the losses that Antonio has suffered from are so severe to ruin the noble merchant, and they pluck commiseration of state from brassy. Commiseration of state here means draw pity. So he's saying that the losses are so severe to ruin the noble merchant and to draw pity from brassy bosoms and rough hearts of flint. He says even the people who are very hard-hearted and stone-hearted. Flint means stony. See, rough hearts of flints means stone, rough stony hearts. Brassy bosoms is hard, made of brass, means that are very hard-hearted. So even people who are very hard and stone-hearted would draw pity towards Antonio, looking into the losses he is suffering from. So what does he say? That losses are enough to break the royal merchant down and win sympathy and mercy from the hearts that are very rough and stone-hearted also. From stubborn Turks, he's saying, see the Turks and Tartars, reference to Turks and Tartars is made here. Turks and Tartars are races which Elizabethan believed to be very uncivilized. And why are they referred to here? They are very uncivilized race that are not expected to show any mercy, and they are not trained to have any human kindness in them. He says that this losses that Antonio is facing, going through, are so huge that they could draw pity. They are enough to draw pity from the most hard-hearted and stone-hearted people, and even Turks and Tartars who are never taught the feeling of human kindness. Even they would show pity and mercy to Antonio on considering his losses that he is suffering from. So that is why Turks and Tartars, the reference to Turks and Tartars is made here, because this is almost you can say a comparison. So he's saying that Turks and Tartars could even show mercy considering the losses Antonio is going through, why not you? Why not Shylock? So that is what Duke actually means, though it's not mentioned here anywhere, but that is what he means by saying so. Why? That is why he's referring to Turks and Tatars here. He wants Shylock to show pity on him, considering his losses. He's almost ruined. He's left with nothing. So he says, what does these lines mean? These lines means that losses are enough to break the heart of royal merchant and win sympathy from hard-hearted people, from hearts as hard as brass and as rough as stones, from even uncultured Turks and Tatars who have been never taught the feelings of human kindness. What all things are mentioned here that could draw pity for the condition of this merchant. So he says, hearts as hard as brass. See, from brassy bosoms, even they could draw pity. They could draw pity on Antonio, considering his losses. Brassy bosom and rough hearts of flint. He says, hearts as hard as brass and rough as stones. Two things. Third things, even from the stubborn Turks, even from the uncultured Turks and Tatars, who are never trained, who are never taught the offices of tender courtesy, who are never taught the feelings of human kindness, right? So even they would have pity on Antonio, considering his losses. And after saying all this, he says, we all expect a gentle answer due. So he says that now we all expect a noble response from you. Let us know, what do you feel about that? We want your answer. So now Shylock tells the Duke, I have possessed your grace of what I propose. He says that I have informed your grace. Here is the Duke. He says, I have informed you already. What I propose means what I intend to do. So he says that I have already informed your grace of what I intend to do. And by our holy Sabbath, I have sworn to have the due and forfeit of my bond. He says that I have vowed by the Sabbath. I have sworn by the Sabbath. Sabbath is the sacred day of Jewish week. So it's a very sacred day for Jewish people, and he has sworn by Sabbath that he will take the penalty of his bond. He says that I will have my dues and the penalty that are laid down in the contract. As per the bond, whatever is mentioned in the bond, I will take that, because he thinks that he is liable to take that because the bond has been forfeited. So he says that I have sworn by the holy day, that is Sabbath, to obtain the penalty which is due to me according to the terms of the bond. Moving on to the next page. He says, if you deny it, let the danger light upon your charter and your city's freedom. He says that if you deny me this right, if you deny me from getting my penalty, you will endanger the charter of freedom of your city. So what is charter? Charter is rights and privileges that are mentioned in, you might have come across this word in your civics. So the rules and regulations framed in the constitution, that is referred to here. He says that if you do not let me get my penalty, if you deny me that my penalty, then danger will fall upon your charter and your city's freedom. He says that if you deny, then the charter of free rights and privileges and honor of and freedom of your city or country will be at stake. So that is what he says in these lines. You will ask me why I rather choose to have a weight of carrion flesh than to receive 3,000 ducats. He says, you want to know that why I prefer to have this rotten flesh instead of 3,000 ducats. He says, I want to go to previous line, charter. It's mentioned here, the document by which Venice was given independence. So charter is a document by which Venice was given independence. He says in 40th line, Shylock says that if you deny me what I legally have the right upon, that means if he's legally the right to take whatever is mentioned in his bond, since it's forfeited. He says if you deny me that, then if you don't uphold the law, then the freedom will disappear. Then the city will be under. He's threatening him that the freedom of city will be under threat if you deny me whatever is mentioned in the bond. So he's saying, now you will rather ask me that why I have chosen to have weight of Karen fresh. Karen means rotten. So why I want flesh from Antonio's body and not 3,000 ducats. He says, I will not answer that. See, he asks a question himself. He assumes that this is what the Duke might ask me, and then he says that I am not going to answer that. And then again he answers to the same question. But say it is humor. Is it answered? He says, I will say just because I want a pound of flesh from Antonio's body, that is why I want. That is why I am taking a pound of flesh from Antonio's body and not 3,000 ducats. He says, in case you ask me a question that why am I so eager to take this rotten flesh from Antonio's body and not 3,000 ducats, he says, I am not going to answer that. But then he says, but I will simply say that I want a pound of flesh from Antonio's body just because I want it, without giving any reason. He says, am I answered now? Then he starts giving example, proving himself that he's correct at whatever he's doing. He says, what if my house be troubled with a rat, and I be pleased to give 10,000 ducats to have it banned? He says, if my house is troubled with rats. So what does he mean here? He says that, what if I'm troubled by rats? He says that if in case there are lots of rats in my house and I'm troubled by rats, and he says that if I pay somebody 10,000 ducats to get the rats poisoned, what are you answered? So he's giving all these examples. Why do you think so? He's mentioning rats and his house and getting the rats poisoned here. So he's saying that he's troubled by rats, and he can give anybody 10,000 ducats to get rid of those rats or get the rats poisoned. So he's saying there's nothing wrong in that. Why is he referring to rats and his house here? He wants to say that he was troubled by Antonio and he has paid 3,000 ducats to get rid of him. Right? So that is what he means here. He says that he is troubled by, if in case his house is troubled by rats, and he pays somebody 10,000 ducats to get rid of those rats or get the rats poisoned. So he says, am I answered? Are you answered now? Have I given you answer to a question that why I want a pound of flesh and not 3,000 ducats? Then he gives some other example also. Some men that there are love not a gaping pig. He says that there are some people who do not love a gaping pig. So what is a gaping pig? He says a gaping pig is a pig's head roasted with the mouth open. He says there are some people who do not like a gaping pig. Some that are mad if they behold a cat. He says some people, they go mad if they see a cat. So they do not like cats. And others, when the bagpipe sings, I the nose cannot contain. He says other people cannot maintain their self-control when they hear the shrill notes of a bagpipe. So he's saying that some people, they do not love the gaping pig. Others, they do not like, they get mad when they see a cat. And some, they cannot have control over themselves when they hear the shrill notes of a bagpipe. So he says that some people react like that. For affection, mistress of passion sways it to the mood of what it likes or loathes. Loathes means hatred. He says, why do people behave like this? He says, because personal inclination or personal inflection is the ruler of any emotion, and it directs our emotion to like or dislike something. He says that personal feelings rules our emotion and it sways it towards our likes or dislikes. He says that why do people not love Gaping Pig or Cat or Sound of Bagpipe? He says because they are ruled by mistress of passion, they are ruled by their emotions, and that is why they like or hate something. It's our emotions that lead us to liking or hating something. Says so there's no specified reasons for liking or hating something. It's just our emotions. It's just our feeling of emotion that rules our liking or disliking towards something. Now for your answer, as there is no firm reason to be rendered, says now I am answering your question, the question that Duke had never asked. He has just assumed that Duke would ask me a question that why do I want a pound of flesh and not 3,000 ducats? He's saying that I am answering you that question only. He says why he cannot abide a gaping pig? Why somebody can't abide a gaping pig? Means put up with the gaping pig. Why he doesn't like a gaping pig? Why he a harmless necessary cat? Otherwise cats are also kept as pets in houses, no? So he's saying why people doesn't like a harmless necessary cat, domestic cat. Why he a woolen bagpipe? Says why somebody doesn't like a woolen sound of woolen bagpipe. But a force must yield to such inevitable shame to offend himself being offended. So what does he say in these lines? He says that why do people behave like in such a manner? So he says, as to offend himself of being offended. He says they react in such a shameful manner because they are offended. What do offended means? Because they are annoyed, especially because they are insulted by somebody. So he's saying that when the people are themselves offended, they are compelled to react in such a shameful manner that they give offense to others. They offend others. So just read, I'm reading the lines again. But a force much yield to such inevitable shame as to offend himself being offended. He says, but when he himself is offended, when a person himself is insulted or annoyed, he is compelled to react in such a shameful manner that he must give offense to others, that he reacts in such a way that others also feel offended. So when a person is himself offended or annoyed, especially here in this case because he is being insulted, so he is offended by Antonio. So that is why he is offending him now. That is this is how he could offend Antonio now, by taking a pound of flesh from his body. He is reacting in a very shameful manner. So that is he is referring to all these things because he wants to prove himself correct, that whatever he is doing, he is right at that. So he is simply saying that there is no specified reasons that why people do not like a gaping pig, a cat or a woolen bagpipe. He says there are no specified reasons for these things. Why do they have a feeling of dislike for them? Just because they irritate or annoy them. Just because these things offend them, and that is why they offend them in return and react very shamefully. So there is no specified reason. So he says, so can I give no reason, nor I will not. He says, so I am also not giving you any reason that why I am taking a pound of flesh from Antonio's body and not 3,000 ducats. He says, I am not going to give you any reason, because he just wants to say, because he is also offended and annoyed and irritated and insulted by Antonio. That is why he is reacting in that way. That is why he wants a pound of flesh from Antonio's body and not 3,000 ducats. More than a lodged hate and a certain loathing I bear Antonio, that I follow thus a losing suit against him. Are you answered? He says in this lines that I have no reason to give for taking a pound of flesh from Antonio's body because I have deep-rooted hatred. Lodged hate means deep-rooted hatred. Loathing again means hate. So he says, I have deep-rooted hatred and loathing for Antonio. I bear for Antonio. And so I pursue this unprofitable case against him. The losing suit here means the legal case where you lose money. So he's saying this is totally unprofitable for me. If he asks for 3,000 ducats, he will gain something. A pound of flesh is of no use. It's totally unprofitable. So he's saying I am holding on. I'm getting this, losing this suit against him just because I have this deep rooted hatred against Antonio. That is why I'm taking a pound of flesh from him and not 3,000 ducats. Then he asks him, are you answered? On hearing all this, Bassanio says, there is no answer, thou unfeeling man, to excuse the current of thy cruelty. He says that this is not a satisfactory answer. He calls him unfeeling man, a heartless man, on account of his merciless action, to excuse the current of thy cruelty. He calls him a unfeeling and a merciless, heartless man because he is so merciless in his actions. On hearing this, Shylock say, I am not born to please thee with my answers. He says, I am not obliged to give you a satisfactory answers in order to please you. He says, I am not here to satisfy you with my answers. That's not my, I am not liable to do so. Bassanio, do all men kill the things they do not love? So Bassanio is asking him a question. See, what did Antonio say in the previous extract here? What did he say? He says that I am taking a pound of Antonio's flesh just because I have a deep-rooted hatred against him. I hate him so much. And that is why I am taking a pound of flesh and not 3,000 ducats. Now Bassanio is asking him a question. So what will happen if he takes away a pound of flesh from Antonio's body? He will die. He says, do all men kill the things they do not love? He says he has understood that you have deep-rooted hatred against him. He says, but do people, they kill the things that they do not love? So this is the question that Bassanio asks Antonio. Now I want you to go through the scene till here. I have finished till page 113 of your textbook and I continue in the next video. I want you to go through the scene, give a thorough reading to the scene, and let me know if there are any doubts. For now, I'll be ending the video here only. Thank you so much.